Thank you. That's it's wonderful to hear, and I could not agree more. When trying to think about the issue of discussing Israel and perspectives on Zionism from the LGBT community, I go to a moment when I was once in a discussion was in England about the conflict. And I remember many of the students there at one point just said, why can't you all just get along? Why are you fighting with each other? This is so passé. Just please get along. And of course, when you take your distance, we all seem very similar over there in the Middle East, brownish looking. And why is it that we cannot get along? And I think because we've been at each other's throats for so long, what has been drawn over time is a certain moral and value equivalence between the societies. The assumption that this is all the same and it's not clear what they're fighting over. And I think it's very important to actually realize that there's not a moral equivalence. And what Israel has sought to build in the Middle East, and there's nothing close, miles in any direction, is an open, liberated community. And this is, at the end of the day, the core of Zionism. Zionism today has a bad rep. But Zionism is the liberation movement of the Jewish people. It is the desire of the Jewish people to take charge of their own fate, to assume responsibility, to show their capacity for self-governance. It is a daughter of the Enlightenment. It is a daughter of a time when it became clear that it was not just about practicing Jewish duty. And this is why Israel, despite being implanted in the Middle East, because of the ancient connection, is still very, very unique in the Middle East. And Israel has that part of being the liberation movement, the take charge, self-governance part of the Jewish people. But it also has an important part, which is to innovate Jewish life. Because it is a daughter of the Enlightenment, what Zionism did is open up a wave of innovation in Jewish life. And this is why what you said was so important about not just having a voice and asking to be engaged, but shaping the place, shaping the community, shaping Israel. Because this is the license that Enlightenment has given to Zionism and to Jewish movements outside of Israel. It's to innovate, it's to reinterpret. We think of Judaism as the fiddler on the roof tradition, but almost all traditions were at one point innovations, and then they became traditions. So I think it's very important for us to understand that the reason that Israel has such an advanced legal climate for LGBT, and one that continues to advance all the time, and one that is legally at the forefront globally. Very, very few countries are there. But as always in many places, and it's true for Israel with women's rights as well, to bring all of society to the legal part takes time. Sometimes you have a very advanced legal environment, but people, views take time to change. So I think it is very important to have that engagement so society will be as open as our legal code. But Israel, on the whole, is open. And certainly in Tel Aviv, and certainly more and more in the media, in the public sphere. And it's pushing, it's pulling behind it other communities. It's pulling the ultra-Orthodox, the national religious, to innovate in Judaism and to come out and to feel safe, to be LGBT in Israel because it gives the kind of Jewish headline, the Zionist headline, and they can come out. And it gives even a safe space to Palestinians who come from the West Bank to Israel to be more free. So we need to understand that despite one of the reasons that there is a conflict, there's the national issues and the religious issues and the dividing the land issues, but the conflict is also a conflict of values. When someone tells us you need to integrate into the region, you cannot be a Western outpost in the Middle East. What do you want me to integrate into? I'm a modern, free, emancipated woman. I don't want to be integrated into a place that doesn't see women in that way. I want them to be integrated to me. And I think we need to understand that the conflict, even though it often paints Israel in a way that is not easy to deal with, is a conflict also because we have very different values about what it means to have an open society. And the one thing that I could really tell, that I could really say for Israel is that Israel tries. It has the ideals, it has the vision, it knows where it wants to go, and it keeps on trying. It keeps on trying to be at the forefront. And I think that is something that cannot be said for a lot of other societies, and certainly those that are around Israel, miles in any direction.